together on the sofa.
We're a family, we get really close. We're also freezing cold.
Thanks, Wales.
What's up, Wales? Hi! You look fantastic.
I am Welsh, so I'm allowed to bitch about the weather, and the weather is so bad. It's Wales! I'm like introducing Robin to my homeland for the first time. I'm like, this is Wales, sorry about the rain.
It's lovely.
This is it 90% of the time, you're getting a really authentic Welsh.
Perfect, I feel, yes.
Right, this is new for you. You haven't done Welsh Comic-Con before, so the way this works, we've got John in the middle there, he's waving his eye. He's got a roving mic, and people will put their arms in the air, and John will find them and ask you a question. Whatever that could be. It's like magic. So let's start that process off now by putting your hands in the air if you want to ask a question. Here we go. The key here is to make John run around as much.
No, John's going to get his steps today.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people.
Okay, first question. So the Gotham panel.
Would you stand, please?
This is to all of you. I'm wondering if they did a spin-off of Batman Soul, how many of you would be interested in actually continuing your same role on the Batman Soul and continuing where Gotham left off?
Personally, I mean, a personal dream of mine would have been, it's not giving any spoilers away or anything like that, but there's a kind of a leap towards the end of the last season. And I'd love to do a Christmas special. With songs.
With songs, absolutely. Yes.
And all the outfits, like little red, cute elves.
So Lena would give Alfred a lump of coal.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. To expound on that, I would say, like, because we were in Germany talking about this too, it's like, you know, all of us were so happy with the way it ended and the fact that we had a finale and we were able to put such a, final spin on the very end was just such an honor. But I think, like, going forward, there would be no way any of us could do this show unless everyone were a part of it. And so, unfortunately that probably won't happen, but, what a run.
One can dream.
You got more episodes at the end, didn't you?
Yes, we were picked up for they picked us up for 10 episodes in season 5, which would have taken us to 98 episodes. And so all of us were a little like, really? And then someone came to their senses and gave us 2 more. And so we have, our final episode was 100 episodes. Perfect, nice, round, beautiful number.
One of which those episodes, I've got to say, was directed by the irrepressible Erin Richards.
Yes.
I was going to mention that because last time you were here, you were talking about how you would like to direct an episode, and now you've done it. And
Manifesting your dreams.
It's
real.
So what was it like then?
It was incredible. I mean, it was off. Anyone want to ask
You've got a accordion. You're reminiscing about time, friends.
There was this time. It was our final episode, it was the 100th episode that I got to direct, which was just insane because it was just this beautiful girl. It might be me. No, I can't think she smells, and I'm like, it might be me.
No, I'm pretty sure it's
been traveling for a while.
Honestly, say.
Well, then we're smelling together.
Okay.
No one can smell us, no one knows. We don't mention it, then no one's going to know.
And then just won't say anything.
Copy that, yeah.
It's like, wow, they smell so bad. That's my biggest fear, body odor.
They have deodorant for that.
I know, but like sometimes.
What's happening here?
So back to me directing.
It could be the previous panel, don't worry about it. You could screen it so it could be like dry goat's blood or something.
So yeah, it was fabulous, and it was our last ever episode, which was just, the most perfect way to end it. Ben McKenzie wrote the episode, it was so incredible writing, and it was just a dream come true. I've always, or at least for the last 3 years, kind of was trying to direct. Let's go back to the smells.
I'm listening.
You've heard it all before. No, she's heard it all before. so she's like, wow, you loved everything, wow.
No, I'm sorry.
It was wonderful, and I would strongly recommend any people out there who are interested in directing, if you want to come and talk to me, if you're young women that have got stories and you want to get them out there, then I'm really happy to like help you, because obviously it's a little bit harder for women in the industry to get through as directors, which is fine. It is what it is, we're changing it up, which is great, but also any men that want to talk to me about it too is wonderful. So yes, it was fantastic and a real the best possible way from us. I hope me personally that we could have ended that beautiful experience. Thank you for asking.
Great, let's go for another question then. I don't even know where John is. Oh, he's over there in the corner. Might grab some close.
Hiya, this is a question for Robin. Hi, big fan of all you. Great show.
Thank you.
Is there any, obviously the Penguin does some really dark stuff in the show. Is there like anything in particular that you've sort of seen in the script and gone, oh, that might be a bit too far?
Well, there was an episode in season 2 where I may have murdered my step-siblings and fed them to their mother. Just another Tuesday in Gotham City. No, but it was never like too much. I mean, we all, all of us had such amazing things to do in the show, and anything they threw at us, it always felt, very organic, and it made sense for the characters. And I know that all of us, really appreciated really going to those places. As actors, that's what we do, that's what we look for in material, and the fact that we got to do that in so many different ways in our show was really incredible and special. But yeah, I would say nothing's ever too far. I will say the one difficult thing though about, the scenes where my character would have to murder another character, the hardest thing is actually just ending another actor's journey on the show. As an actor who's guest starred on shows, and then also as an actor who's been killed on a show, you know how that feels. We just, and Gotham was such a special place creatively that everyone who came through, was so excited to be there. So it's like when you have to end another character's journey, that was always really difficult. It just
But you're so good at it, though.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate.
Great
Cheers.
questions, yes. Okay, let's go for this. Do you want to pick one?
Oh, I've seen a hand in the same area as me up,
No, warmer. Walk forward.
Lady with the same hair as you.
Hi, quite nervous. Thanks for being here, because I know you only finished filming days ago. Massive fans. Well, it seems to be. But we have a lot after you guys. Robin, massive fan of you, your cat. Sean, great butler. And obviously Catwoman is a big shoes to fill. But for all of you, what was your favourite scene to play?
Go on.
No, you take the wheel.
I really enjoyed a scene that I did with Morena right at the beginning of the first season, and we had a big fight, and it was the first time I did a fight with a woman, and it was amazing, and it felt like dancing with her, and we had said afterwards, it was a really long fight. I don't know if you remember it, it's when Lee and Barbara I pull out a knife on her, and it was kind of a turning point also for Barbara's character, which was great. And it's just so interesting to fight somebody of your own, because usually a lot of the time you're fighting a man, which is a lot scarier because they're so much bigger and stronger. But when you fight somebody your same size, it's like this really beautiful balance, and then it does feel more like a dance. You're just kind of moving, and so I really enjoyed that.
Excuse me. I got a little parched. I guess filming it was really difficult, but the significance of it will forever be marked on the heart. And it would be the first episode of season 5 where Selena attempted to commit suicide. The topic is not the greatest, thing to talk about, and suicide is definitely something that more people need to be aware of, mental health and all those things. And to be the vessel for that conversation or for that imagery in a show like Gotham was really special to me, so I'd say that.
I would say, well, it's on my mind right now. There are so many. Usually, the biggest one of the biggest, I'm going to say two actually. The first one that I always think of immediately was the scene between me and Jim on the pier in the first episode. That was sort of when it all sort of locked into place what we were doing and what we were capable of doing, and it was just a very profound moment for me, personally and professionally, and a really amazing connection that Ben and I will forever share. And that was fabulous. But then also, the second to last episode, they added a scene which turned out to be one of my favorite scenes, if not the favorite scene I had with Corey Michael Smith. And it's the final sort of encapsulation of the relationship between Penguin and Oswald. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it really explores that that dance that they're constantly in between, are you my enemy or are you my best friend? And how do we navigate that? And it was just sort of what's that? Is there a wedding? Well, you could tweet Warner Brothers and ask if we could. We'll throw it into the Christmas special.
A white wedding.
With songs.
With songs.
There's something that, like Robin said, there's so many, but one of my favourites was when we were let out of the manor for the very first time, so I was getting quite sick of making cups of tea for that brats. And we got out to confront his bully, Tommy Elliott, and I give him his father's watch, and he beats 7 bells of stuff out of this kid, and then I take it for pizza. But the importance of that scene was that it was the first time, it was like the seed germinating to become the man that eventually dons the cowl. It was the first time where the ordinary man stands up against the bully, because I effing hate bullying anyway. Full stop, won't have it. So that was a very important scene for us. And my other one, which is, I must have thrown the whole of America into confusion, is because I tend to go off-piste slightly on some of my monologues, and that's when I meet Chris Chalk for the first time. He was one of the funniest actors on our set, and I talked to him you're not quite sure if he's threatening him, but one of the lines is, I'll tie you up like a kipper. And the fact that the Twitter nearly exploded because the whole of America was confused as to what a kipper was. And so did Chris Chalk, he was confused what a kipper was. So I love that element. That's one of my favourite scenes because it was actually an element of the audition speech that we had. And they used London language, Cockney language as a weapon. And they allowed me to do it, so I really like that scene.
Excellent.
I love you all.
You're looking in the right direction.
Yes.
Where would you think you'd be right now if you went for Gotham?
Great question.
Not Wales.
I would be in Wales.
I'd be at home, I suppose. London. I mean, that's weird because I moved over to America. I have a son and a wife, allegedly. So I've been working over in the States for the last 5 years, so I'd probably be at home with them.
Yeah, just hacking away at it. I mean, we're all working actors, and we all know what it's like to face rejection constantly. So it'd probably be a lot more facing rejection. That's for sure.
I don't know where I would be. I mean, Gotham has changed my life incredibly, drastically. I wouldn't be acting for sure because I wanted to quit, and then I got the audition for this. So I wouldn't be acting. I'd probably be going to school, doing something that I don't really want to do, and I wouldn't have the means of traveling, and I wouldn't know these people who mean the world to me. So my life would be miserable if it weren't for Gotham.
each and every one of us, and that things happen in our lives that might feel really shitty, sorry for my language, at the time. And I've had a lot of those experiences, like moments in my life where, especially with acting, where I've been like supposed to be like a lead character of something, and then I got dropped. Like, all right, I'll tell you. So being human, I don't know if you know, I was in that, and I was lead. Thank you. And I was going to be the lead in the next series, and then I got dropped because they didn't want it to be a woman. How very dare you, BBC. It wouldn't happen these days. At least that's what I thought. I mean, I don't. It ended up being a man becoming the lead, and for whatever reason that was. And so that was crushing, so painful for me, because obviously, like, I thought I was going to be the lead of a TV show. And then out of that, I went to America, because I was like, well, screw this, I'm going to go over and see what I can do over there. And I got Breaking In, and then I got Gotham. So it's like the most painful times in your life where you think, like, why is this happening to me? Good things can come from it. And I think that we're all kind of on a road to somewhere, so I'm not sure we'd be anywhere. I think we're always meant to be in Gotham.
Stars align.
Let's find. Look, John's just looking confused in the middle. There's too many options. Down front, John. Come on.
Run, John, quick.
You can do this, John. Oh, the dog, John. The dog wants to ask a question. What is it? Where's his snacks? That's what he wants to know. Where are his snacks?
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Are you speaking on behalf of the dog? Just
I'm channeling with those thoughts.
great. I thought so.
I was just thinking, with Gotham City having the reputation that it has, kudos to everyone involved for fleshing out the city in a way we've never seen before, which I really appreciate. But this is a bit of a light-hearted one. Say you work for the tourism department, how would you sell Gotham to other people to get them to visit? So maybe think of a slogan or something like that.
It doesn't rain as much as it does in Wales.
Visit Gotham. Only 4,000 people were murdered last year.
Yabba dabba does.
Yeah, if you would love to get robbed, it's the perfect place to go. So yeah, definitely.
Bring the kids.
Yeah, bring the kids. Like, there's never a sign. Everybody's grumpy. You're probably gonna get robbed or stabbed.
Christmas
5 minutes
special.
from walking out.
Possibly by this one.
Yes, possibly. And even if she doesn't stab you, she's definitely gonna steal your milk. So make sure that you hide your kids, hide your wife. You know. Yeah.
Christmas special coming soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, brilliant.
Here comes Selena Kyle.
Excellent. It could be like,
Thank you to
if
you
you
and the
die,
dog.
don't worry,
Great
you'll be
dog.
back next week.
That one really does.
How many people have been thrown into the bay on Gotham that come back? It's like the bay has a magic
Oh,
property.
that's a good one actually.
Yeah.
Like you never die, right?
Yeah.
So like come and you can never die. The place that you
Yeah,
never die.
if you
This
die,
better
you'll be back
one.
next week.
Come to die, leave tomorrow.
Excellent. There we go.
Fire!
We could do this all day.
Okay, John, well. It's just
We're gonna have to give it up to John.
It's not even necessary. Oh, we tried that once. It was a disaster. Yeah.
Welsh people don't queue.
I'll tell you later. It wasn't pretty.
Hey there.
What was it like to become some of the most iconic characters in the life of Batman?
Life-changing and also completely unexpected. I mean, again, as actors, we want any jobs, and then for such a big job for all of us to have it be playing characters that have existed for 80 years, and have it be the pinnacle of pop culture. It's unbelievable. You as an actor, you want to wish for things, but you don't want to wish too hard or expect them, because again, there's so much rejection and devastation. You pour your heart into something and it doesn't necessarily come back to you.
How do you deal with something like that?
You move on and you keep looking towards the next thing, and you remind yourself, like what Aaron said, is that it's happening for a reason, and you just really believing in yourself and staying focused is that's the hardest thing about acting, is handling that rejection. But but then for once there wasn't rejection. It all came through for us, and then it just felt like magic.
Yeah, I think the thing was, none of us, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but none of us really knew. I didn't know I was going out for Alfred Pennyworth. I went up for this part about a guy goes into a pub and breaks someone's larynx. And I saw Bruno and Danny walking past, and I said, so who's his character? And they went, Alfred Pennyworth. And I went, like what? But had I known it was Alfred Pennyworth, I definitely wouldn't have got the job. The clever thing about the casting of, I think, of our show, which I'm so proud of, is each and every person. Our showrunners and our writers saw something in us. They cherry-picked traits that we never were aware that we even had. So it's their foresight and their interpretation, I think, of what they saw in us to continue the legacy of these characters. Because I know, I would have, something bad would have happened at the trousers department if I knew I was going out for Alfred Pennyworth. I never would have got it. So that's...
It's amazing. So there have been a lot of photos that have been posted on Instagram now that the show has ended, and if not my favorite, was our brilliant casting director, Sharon Thomas. She posted a photo. It was a collage of all of us, and they were all stills from our audition. And you see all of us. It's Sherry Thomas on Instagram. If you check, and I think Drew Powell may have reposted it too. But you look. And none of us, I'm blonde, none of us have our outfits on or anything, but it's clear as day who we were meant to be. It really is mind-blowing, and it's before anything, before we shot anything, and just the looks on our faces, mid-audition, it's like, there's Alfred, there's Barbara, no one else could do it. It's really spectacular, so if you get a chance to check it out. Sherry Thomas.
Yeah, and that is the genius of casting directors as well. Like people like Sherry Thomas who can look at us in those ways and just see, and casting directors are the most incredible people. They see such spark inside of people, and it's a really beautiful profession.
Thank you.
Good one, great question. Let's go for another one.
We've got someone waving here.
It's been passed.
Oh, it's been passed.
Hi.
It's like pressing the button.
Hi guys, I've been to me before at the cons, but thanks for coming to this one. My question is for Sean. I wanted to know, since your dad was the third Doctor, with him being an actor, did he inspire you to become one, or was that a choice on your own?
I don't really know, actually, to be honest, because the thing was, he had a sort of really healthy contempt for actors. He was much more sort of interested in pirates and smugglers, and his history. If you know anything about my father, he was into diving and into sort of scurrilous people. But of course I was surrounded by it, so I presume if my dad was a butcher, I might have broken into the butchering world. But it was one of those things that because I come from a family that's been involved in some capacity in the artistic world for many generations, it was something that I discovered that was there. That it was a scratch that you had to itch. It was one of those things whether you'd be good or bad. And like my father before, his father, Roland Pertwee, was one of the first writers with Charlie Chaplin and developed Universal Studios and everything like that. He grew up with the same fear of nepotism as I did with my dad, being Doctor Who and everything like that. So I was determined to do it on my own. I didn't ask or tell my father anything, which put his nose slightly out of joint, but he of course was very proud. But he did exactly the same thing,
Hi, this is a question for all of you. With the success of all the DC and Marvel films at the moment, if they do a Batman film, would any of you like to audition for your character on the big screen?
In my opinion, if it's right, then it's right, If the project is right, if everybody is down to act, DTA, I feel like it would have to be right for that to happen. I don't like to say that nothing is possible, because everything is possible. So in my opinion, you know, if the script is amazing, if the director is amazing, if there's a level of respect for the art and for the characters and for the history of the comics, then I mean, I don't see it not being a possibility.
And again, it would be really important that the original group be together. I think it would be very difficult. I couldn't imagine having a scene with another Riddler or another Barbara, it would just be really strange because it's so much about our characters that we discovered. I don't want to speak for him, but it came to us from our fellow actors. There would be things that acting with these people that would bring to the scenes that would inform things to me about Oswald. So I learned through them, and to bring someone else in, I just don't know if the magic would be possible. Again, who knows?
And also, so there's this spin-off on Freeform called Good Trouble, and it's based on, I don't know if you guys watch it, I think it's incredible. Yes, it's a spin-off from the Fosters. And while there are new people, they have the same actors from the Fosters come and have scenes with the two characters from the Fosters. So it's like, even if there were to be new characters, like Robin saying, it would have to be. I'm just repeating what he said, so I'll just.
Well, no, it deserves to be repeated.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great question. Right, let's go for another. We've got time for a couple more here.
Lady down here too.
Tomorrow, John has to wear a bright pink sweatshirt so I can see him. Just kidding.
Hi guys.
Hi.
If the characters were to be reinterpreted again, as I'm sure they will be, because with this property, I mean, these characters are always being reinterpreted, reinvented.
They must be reinterpreted. They must be reinvented. I'm sorry to jump on your question, but like that is the most special thing about our show, I think, is that we were able to bring these characters into a new time, into a new world, and show you things about them that you may not have seen before. You know, and also again, like these Batman and these characters have been reinterpreted for every generation, and they show things and they reflect things about the time in which they're created. And so, yes, it's absolutely necessary that someone plays the Penguin again, and I'm so excited to see whoever it is. I'm sorry, finish your question. Sorry.
That kind of does jump into my question, that does answer it a little bit. My question was going to be, would you be able to offer advice to them on how, on a direction to take it in, or would you take inspiration from your characters and try and kill them to keep your perspective on it?
And I mean, I kind of dealt with that for the finale of the show with Lily Simmons. It was really important to me that, and I was actually kind of nervous to bring it up to her about talking about Selena, because I didn't want to be overbearing. I wanted her to, you know, have the space to do what she wanted. I can't even tell who I'm supposed to be talking to. Oh, hi.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to give her the space to, you know, show her interpretation of it, but it was also really important for me that certain characteristics followed through. And so we talked for hours. I literally, I found a composition book of journal entries that I wrote as Selena, and I brought them, and I went on YouTube, and I found all these scenes that were really important, examples of traits, and we literally ordered pizza and some garlic bread, and we talked story about Selena for 4 hours, and I made certain things very clear, but then it was also this is what I've built, but she's 10 years older. This is a new Selena. Yes, there's a foundation that I've formulated, but this is you. So take what I have to give and then add to it. If you can follow a recipe, ingredient by ingredient, but then it's not really special in a way, unless it's like grandma's lasagna or bread, then that has to stay the way it is. But as far as new adaptations, it's important to have that new sense of flavor, So I think if they are willing to have advice given to them, then that's amazing. I think it's also important for the person, the actor, to feel like she or he has room to grow and not change the character, but let the character evolve. Because even as humans, if you're not evolving every day, then you're just space. You're not a human, you know? So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
I mean, you talked a little bit about this as it was a very different sort of interpretation, wasn't it, of Batman. Did you feel early on there was a bit of resistance to how much Gotham was changing the sort of Batman lore of old from sort of the die-hard Batman fans?
Yeah, there was a lot of pushback on certain canon things, which is like one of my least favorite words, because it's like, again, we wouldn't be telling these stories if we didn't change, if the characters didn't change and evolve, and again, reflect the times in which they're being portrayed. You know, these stories would have died decades ago if they didn't change and evolve and reflect the times in which they're being filmed or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it's really difficult sometimes. Change is difficult. Like, we as human beings do not like change. It's kind of embodied inside of us. And so when you see something different, first reaction can be like, oh, I don't like it. But like, if you look back on these 5 years, I cannot imagine, like, my favourite versions of Catwoman, Penguin, Alfred, and are these people. Like, these interpretations of these characters, I think, are the most beautiful interpretations that I've ever seen. And if we had been stifled at the beginning by, please, you know, don't change these people, don't change them, don't make anything, we want to see exactly what we wanted or know, you would never have got these stories. Like, you would not have lived this 5 years with these characters. And so it's difficult at first, but now looking back, like, I'm just so proud that we were brave enough to be.
You sort of see Batman throughout the 80 years in sort of 10-year increments in many respects, really. And the thing is, what I'm so proud about with the show, the legions of fans that have followed it, is the subtextual element, the fact that we've been given nearly 100 hours of television to explore these characters. So now the lovely fans, the beautiful fans of the show that will be growing every year, actually will question other interpretations, subtextual versions of why people are like that, because everybody has the propensity to be good or evil. They'll question why Oswald became Oswald, and that's what I'm very proud of. I think that this show will be, it represents this period, what Erin said, this period in time of the overall 80 years of the Batman history and story. It'll be a sort of a